Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new PentaBAR. If it's Wednesday, as usual, and if it's at noon, we'll discuss subjects on the tech side. There PentaBARs. We have some very nice invites from Microsoft, and that we continue from last year when we started the pandemics, but we go deeper into this. So about the PowerApps platform, and we'll refer to it as a platform, and that's Microsoft High Productivity Application platform, and that is preparing a series of upgrades to help coders to develop faster in low code. And that's why in this PentaBAR, you'll hear straight from the source with two Microsoft representatives about all the upgrades that will come in the spring and what happened just now. This is Ecaterina Ilincai, who is a partner technical consultant in Microsoft, and Alina Iordache, a business lead platform, Power Platform. And they will be joined by our habitual guest, which is the Chief Platform Officer at Pentalog, Cornel Fătulescu. Before showing them to you, I will just speak a bit about the subject. So we have the custom APIs, we'll have the modern Fluent UI, we'll have the Power Platform Azure, and then Azure Bot Framework. We'll look what has improved in terms of ALM capabilities. We'll talk about Microsoft Dataverse for team environments, and Power Automate and RPA, and the announcement that were during Ignite about introducing Microsoft PowerApps, the low-code programming language for everyone. And this, saying all this, will have also demo. So get prepared to dig deeper into this. And if you can hear us, Ecaterina, Alina, Cornel, welcome. I hope everybody is back on track. Yeah, we're seeing everybody. Welcome.
Welcome.
How are you today?
Hello.
I like your library behind you, Cornel. There, it's showing a part of your personality that I have, learned about in our sessions together. So this subject, and thank you for inviting Microsoft. It's powered by Microsoft also, as I was saying, and Ecaterina and Alina are here with us to help us go into the subject. So can you tell us a bit about why is that important? So why is this a subject we should be talking about, and why Power Platform is everyone platform for low-code transformation? Alina, you want to start?
So maybe I will start. Yes, maybe I will start myself just putting, as you already mentioned. As you mentioned, the unexpected and shifting event that happens to us, the pandemic itself, in addition to several long-term trends that are right now coming to us, and those was caused an immediate need to have the low-code transformation put to ensure some critical business function, to continue to remain productive and to keep the daily operation benefit to the employees, to the customer. Not only is the fact that the Power Platform is a turnkey solution that it's helping businesses to face this structural shift, but also you need to take into account that Power Platform it's empowering businesses to do more with low-code transformation. That today, with help of my colleague, to show you how what nice features we do have into this turnkey solution. This can be used on different levels. It's not only for citizen developers, you see, it's not only for IT pros, it's for everyone. And I hope today we'll have the chance to, in the end, all of you to have the same feeling as us. It's a platform, a local platform for everyone.
Thank you, Alina, for the context. I cannot wait to enter a bit the details and the platform. So what I know is that Ecaterina will go there, and maybe we'll hear from Cornell how they used and they did the connectors. But I want to take advantage of this step to really open for questions. So if everyone, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A. I'll make sure there will be and to have an order of that. I'll look also in the chat, but Q&A is helping me more. So we'll try to create a conversation that is here. Just know that this will also be recorded and will be in the PentaBAR's list if you are on the platform, and can be viewed later on, also by all community that is in Pentalog. So if you have questions, bring them on, and we'll answer and we'll create a conversation upon that. For me, being on the other side, you know, in coaching, this is kind of the future of the job description for everybody, starting from citizens to pros, and, you know, having one place platform in, you know, building your code with low code and more, you know, apps, and see what's there. Ecaterina, I pass the ball to you.
Thank you, Mihai, and welcome everybody. Actually, thank you for the question that you have raised regarding what is Power Platform, who is addressed for, and what are the main capabilities. Basically, those will be covered in the next couple of moments, and in this PentaBAR. This is the main reason of this PentaBAR. I'm glad to have with me Alina and Cornell that will share some very nice insights from different topics, and I'm pretty sure that at the end of the session you will be so happy with what you found out today. So, can I start with so to jump directly into the topic, or is there something else that you'd like to add before the actual session?
No, I would say let's go into the presentation, and then we might intervene with questions, if anything else. Cornell, if you have anything now, tell me. If not, we go into that.
Just glad we are having this PentaBAR. There's lots of support in our group for it as a solution, part of a broad landscape of tools. We are really happy of making this choice 1.5 years ago, I believe. We had lots of progress. But anyway, during the PentaBAR, I believe we will come back to how and why I think it went well for us. So let's go with the demo, and
just to throw the anchor there, we have another PentaBAR that it's also on the list. So please be sure that you are subscribed. Our colleagues will put the link for all PentaBARs, and if you are subscribed there, you can see the other one on PowerApps, and it might add up to this discussion, and you might see it there. So Ecaterina, back to you.
Thank you. So first of all, I will share my screen, and please let me know when you can see it.
I can see it's
working.
Oh, okay, great. So as mentioned, the main purpose of today's, let's say, session is to understand the Power Platform as a whole. What are the capabilities, and how we can use those in the current existing capabilities that we have already in our business. As mentioned from the start, this platform is providing a combination of tools in order to make our life easier in the idea and in the direction that the people and the employees will have more time focusing on what really matters for their jobs, and not on the, let's say, administrative, time-consuming tasks. On the very first start, this platform was designed and proposed a collection of tools for the so-called citizen developers. Basically, anybody who wants to create an application or a flow is and should be able to do it without additional development knowledge or some deep dive knowledge into one direction or another. once the time passed and the platform itself improved and growth based also on the feedback of the rest of the customers and the users. Today we are talking about these tools for all the IT people categories. On the one hand, we are still talking about the citizen developers, basically anybody in a business who saw a business need that can be solved and can be automated is able to do this with the capabilities. Imagine, for example, a PowerPoint, a blank canvas PowerPoint with all the freedom actually that you have while creating a slide, and some Excel functions. As of today, this is the experience that PowerApps especially is trying to provide for the citizen developers. On the other hand, we are talking also today about the administrative, for the administrative team instruments, like the Power Platform administration portal, where and the admin center portal, where the admin guys can and are able to see the information related about environments, the data consumptions, the free space, the APIs consumption. Basically, all these details are covered in there and can be reached out by the guys and by the people who knows about what those mean. On the other hand, very important to mention is the fact that this platform is not delivered and it's not developed in order to replace the traditional developers. Of course, we will need those. We will still need those. But this platform is proposing capabilities for those developers in the idea to help them to extend the tools that they are using capabilities. So we will see that this platform is working closer with Visual Studio or Xamarin. So basically, the main purpose and the way that this platform is targeting the pro developers is in order to help them to be more efficient in their daily job. I know that you have had the last session regarding PowerApps, and that's true. Basically, all the story started with PowerApps. Everything has in the middle this app maker capabilities. On the first on the first side, we were talking about the Canvas apps and model-driven apps, the two type of applications that Power Platform is proposing. Those two are targeted for internal users. Basically, anybody who is or who is able actually to access these applications need to be part of the Azure Active Directory of that particular tenant. On the other hand, based on the feedback and on the needs, we are now talking about the external services like the portals or also for the internal users on top of the simple applications. And here I'm telling simple applications because of the way of creating those, not necessarily because of the complexity of the scenarios that they can handle, but because we are talking about a low-code experience, I'm addressing of these applications as simple, just for making the sense. So also for this internal usage, on top of these simple applications, we have the possibility to add measures, KPIs, or different graphical, let's say, elements. This is thanks to the Power BI, which is another tool inside this Power Platform. This Power BI is helping with creating the analysis side of the things, of the data inside the platform capabilities, with this low-code manner and experience. One of these Power BI tiles can be embedded in a Canvas app. Also, a Canvas app can be embedded in Power BI dashboards. Depending on the scenario that you have and what you want to store and what you want to analyze, you can combine the services to have the maximum potential of them in one single place. From the experience level, this is in broad ideas of how we can position. Also, this platform is providing a data source experience, the possibility actually to create a backend using this low-code experience through Dataverse. This Dataverse may be used in applications applications, or maybe used on top of Power BI reports. But this is not a restriction, let's say, because there is and we have another tool, the Power Automate, that is helping us to set connections with different data sources rather than this Dataverse. We can trigger these connectors. We can create this Power Automate flows recurrent for sending notifications, for sending emails. We can embed those into Power BI dashboards. We can embed those into applications. We can use those as standalone flows, depending again on the scenario that we are having. As of today, we have the capability to infuse the power of AI inside our flows and applications, again, in a low-code, no-code manner. This AI Builder is proposing a collection of models already pre-built, and what you have to do is just to train them with your data and just use them in your applications or in your flows or standalone if the case. Mm-hmm. You can use this. Yes, Mihai?
Yeah, I was just wondering if Cornel has anything to add in this part or not.
To add, I think we should let Ecaterina finish, but this possibility to extend what professional technologies do, like professional AI services or your own services, it's key when you adopt the Power Suite. And we had conversation with our colleagues. Are going developers to be replaced or things like this? And the answer is the same as always. Like you use Excel doesn't replace you, or you use PowerApps or PowerPoint, it doesn't replace you. It's an additional tool in your toolkit to automate and build solutions. And it's a very rich suite. But I think it's better if we allow Ecaterina to finish the...
Yeah, sure. I just like to change the lentils, you know, and put you into the conversation and have the real feel of just-in-time user experience. Go ahead, Ecaterina.
Sure. So I was mentioning about the possibility, and also as Cornel said, this platform and the tools from this platform are designed in order to extend the actual capabilities that we already have in our business. So we are not, so the main reason of this platform is not to replace anybody or any other services, let's say, that are currently using us to extend the capabilities and to make everything in a faster to make everything work in a faster manner. And this is why we can see also the capabilities and the direct integration, let's say, with what Office proposed with the Office applications. Basically, you can use the platforms tools in different Office applications, even if we're talking about Teams, for example, and we will see in a couple of moments later that you can create applications and bots directly into Teams, or you can embed, for example, any other combination of tools into your Office applications, for like emails, moving attachments from email to SharePoint, or you name it, based on what scenarios you may have inside the business. This also data. As I mentioned, the Microsoft Power Platform is proposing this Dataverse for this low-code experience, creating a backend, but this will not be enough. And we have now the stand with a lot of data connectors already available. The connectors available for both Microsoft third-party sources. There are connectors already created, around 500 today, and the number is still growing, with the possibility to create your own connector.
And again, I know that Pentalog has experience with that by creating their own connectors. Cornel?
Yes, yes. First, great to have so many connectors out of the box, because it really helps. Salesforce connectors or SharePoint connectors, that's great. Or Teams, because I don't know if it will follow somewhere. As everyone in the post-pandemic world or post-COVID world, we will be more remote. Everything is in Teams, so notifications are there, interactions are there. There is other great, like adaptive cards. So very interesting to talk about it. So that's already a great part. And then, of course, you build services. We build services that we develop our own. And it's important to reuse them whenever it's possible. I'm going to give here examples of simple services, like a search component in your organization. We developed ourselves, and through the Azure stack, we've managed to use them in PowerApps applications or other applications. And our own connectors, we've evolved our business use cases, because we believe that as we work more and more remote and more connected, you can fuel growth through these connectors, through these new technology capabilities. For example, if you have a business, as for example, I'm going to give a precise example for Skill Value, which is a company in the group that does assessment, has a solution for assessment. So those who recruit in IT can use that. And we said, okay, how can others extend this capability or build around this assessment or integrate assessment in their solutions with this? And a part of this answer is having a public connector developed by us and available on the Power Platform. This is in progress. It's not done yet, but this is definitely something that we will do, so that others who want to integrate fast and just use this atomic function, send tests, campaigns, assess people, view results, things like this, can do it with this out of the box if they use Office, Teams, of course, via the Power Suite. And this is great. This is new way of growing your business. And this is just one example. And as we have a new strategy, we call that the programmable company vision, and we declined it in our technology strategy. Everything is API based and events based, and we are looking at what we do and say, this could easily become something useful for our partners or customers. And how will they make benefit from it? Through Power Platform as well. So I believe there are many opportunities, and the business leaders need to make a tour of these opportunities. We are not necessarily aware of them. And I'm just giving a simple conversation that I had with a business owner. It's been a while, but a very interesting one, and that changed his strategy about Teams, and which is still somewhere here in the slide, but
it will just follow.
Yeah, and we've showed how easy you can deploy new applications in Teams. Of course, PowerApps applications. He was, wow. And I said, look at how many companies use Teams. So imagine Teams is like a new marketplace of applications. It's like an app store. You have a store of applications in Teams. You can deploy your services can be through Teams. I'm recalling because it changed an important business. Cannot give more details, but these are conversations I believe business leaders should not miss.
Yeah. So we're passing down from citizen, developers to, pro developers and to business leaders now with the conversation. And I do think so while preparing this, but also aware, I mean, I was thinking, that's a conversation for any professional because the job description of the future might change for you, in knowing Excel, on knowing how to program a Power App. So, that will automate some of our recurrent things to do, or even more, do your job easily in integrating multiple platforms. So, anything else to add, Cornel? We go back to Ecaterina to go to.
Just in regards to how things will evolve, I believe there is we will review lots of things in the way we do things, but there is something that it will remain key in what we do is solution. So today we look at solution architects and things like this. I believe everyone should be a solution architect and should look at problems, articulate them well, and sometimes you solve them. And most of these problems can be easily solved with such suites. And when you cannot do it with such suites, extend them with custom development and things like this. Just a very small comment on what you said. Yes, developer profile will evolve.
Yeah. And I mean, for a developer profile, I think is the reverse journey. It's, I use the bazooka or use the, the big guns when you can handle the problem with some smaller ones and easier ones. So, I mean, why enter that energy of creating, wherever
It's already hard. It's hard enough also to it, but we are doing stuff today which we weren't thinking about because it was very difficult to come to this level. There are many details, many things you need to take care of. If we say, for example, that everything is privacy by design, and you need to discriminate data and have different kind of data, and when you work with, you develop something, you say, okay, so we have different kind of data, treated differently. Well, coding everything from scratch here can be very, very expensive, while many things are out of the box today with such platforms. So I believe if companies where everything is development from scratch, is also because the level of maturity in terms of IT governance, data governance, and security is not yet. And I believe low code in general should be embraced. I honestly cannot see how such case to and just to say what we didn't do before, for example, now we've managed to consolidate our efforts to data stewardship and application stewardship, which was very hard to do it well before low code. Now we are handling this kind of activities. It was almost impossible. Now, getting back to Ecaterina.
So coming now, your strategic perspective, and the language, and that is music to my ears in terms of understanding philosophically how you should think about, addressing some problems and building up solutions. And I think that's important. So I do hope every CTO, program manager, and even solution architect will watch this in the suit, while watching in the PentaBARs. For sure, we'll push for it. Ecaterina, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for the intervention. Actually, what Cornel mentioned about the fact that the people, let's say, don't know about the capabilities, it's true. So we assume, let's say, the fact that the Power Platform is a quite new suite on the world, on the tech world, but pretty sure as the time will pass, everybody will be more and more involved in these capabilities and will take more and more advantage of this. So also let's continue with the anatomy of this platform, and let's see how the things are working. Let's say this platform as a whole, it's an Azure stored platform. So when we are talking about a couple of topics, we may see the same capabilities. For example, when we're talking about the security, we will see the same capabilities as Azure is proposing. Probably you are already familiar with Azure Active Directory based or organization-wide or business unit organization or hierarchical organizational or field level security. So all of those are already built in Azure, and the Power Platform is just taking advantage of this. Also, because of the fact of Azure integration and an Azure platform, we have this capability and this possibility to have the integration with the Azure services directly out of the box. This is actually helping in the scenarios when we are using AI Builder, for example, or Power Virtual Agents, which are consuming actually these services. Let's say you will train one of the models that will detect the language in order to analyze the feedback that you have from your customers. So that AI Builder model that you will just train with your data will have in its component already pre-built the Azure services of language detection and sentiment analysis detection. Or if we're looking at the Power Virtual Agent, which is going to work with human interaction at the end of the day, which is going to respond to human or to customers or other people's questions, it needs to understand the language that is spoken and it needs to be able to provide the right answer based on looking forward. As mentioned, Power Platform is proposing this low-code experience for a backend creation with this Microsoft Dataverse. If we are looking at this Dataverse and a traditional data source, the main difference, I would say, that is the representation itself. Dataverse, it's a bit more less graphical, let's say, because when we are looking at and we are thinking at a traditional data source, we are thinking at those tables with relationships between those. Dataverse in Dataverse, we are also talking about tables, but they are looking, as you can see on the screen over here. Once you open a table, you will see all the details inside that table with the reference, with the relationships, and with the stored data. Let's see how this and what's inside this Dataverse and how this is helping actually with the external connections and integrations. This Dataverse, before going further, basically it's an API first. Everything you do Dataverse creates an API and consumes an API. Those are the same APIs that all the products in the Power Platform, all the tools in the Power Platform, but also Xamarin and Visual Studio are creating and consuming. So from here, we can see that the integration is an out-of-the-box one. The very first layer around the API itself, it's the security one. From the security models, you may see some familiar models that you already know from Azure, what I just mentioned. We are talking about authentication, authorization, or auditing. The very next layer, it's the logic one. Here, it's happening everything that stands with the logic on top of our data, starting with adding plugins, detection of duplicated fields, adding workflows, putting business rules, or adding calculated roles. Everything that stands to logic on top of our data is going to be found on this layer. The next one is, and the heart, let's say, of the Dataverse is the data itself, because we need the data for making all this great stuff. On the data layer, we have the modeling, the reporting, and basically anything that stands with our data itself. data validation, adding the common data model if the case, and also the analysis side of the things and the modeling. The next one, the next layer here, it's the storage one. You may see a lot, or all of them, or the majority of them are already familiar for you, even if you're talking about blob or files or log files, semi-structured data or relational databases, or even data lake, which is one button away. You can choose to store your data in any and all of these options available. Again, thanks to the Azure integration. And the last layer over here, it's the integration one, because it's great to have the possibility to create things, but it would be useless if we won't have the possibility to integrate those into what we already have in order to facilitate our life and our daily job. So from the integration perspective, also there are some familiar capabilities for you, starting with export to SQL or a data lake as well, event to webhook, event to service bus, or event hub, depending on what is the scenario that you may want to cover and what is the story that you have. But from this connectivity perspective, also what Cornel mentioned, the limit is the sky, let's say, because if this Dataverse, it's not enough for you, or it's not helping for a particular scenario that you are having, there are more than 500 connectors already available as of today for both Microsoft and third-party services. Also, if none of those are helping you, or you may have an internal application that it's not already listed in this collection of connectors, you have the possibility to create your own particular connector based on that application, and that will be your connector. So talking about cloud connectivity, you have options for all the scenarios that you may be in. Also, there is the possibility to connect to on-premise data sources through this data gateway, through the data gateways. Those are serving, let's say, like a bridge between the on-premises data source and the cloud application and the cloud services. So you will be able to manipulate and to work with the data that are, for example, stored in a SQL server or other server or on-premises services that you may use. So I'm not jinxing it, or I'm not going too far when I'm saying that from the connectivity perspective, this is quite limitless. So it doesn't matter in what scenario you will have an option and the possibility to create something that will fit your scenario. Talking about the fact and the possibility to create these connectors. Important to mention is the fact that those connectors are not only available in the Power Platform world, so only in PowerApps or in the Power Automate suite, but there is the possibility to work with the same connectors and to use the same connectors in the Logic app. So if there are some more complex scenarios that will require also Azure capabilities, let's say, or to create a Logic app, but also you would like to use that connector for some flows, you can do that with the same connector. So once creating one of those connectors, please keep in mind that you will be able to use it in both Logic apps and Power Platform worlds. On the same time, there are multiple ways of creating these connectors. On the other hand, on one hand, actually, and these capabilities are designed based on users' knowledge at that particular moment. For example, for low code or for a citizen developer, actually, there may be the best option to start using a blank custom connector from the PowerApps portal, just to follow the guidance that the portal is providing and to create the connector itself. For a pro developer, for example, maybe the Postman collection, it's very useful and way easier to start creating the connector using those advanced, let's say, services. So based on the experience that you may have and the scenario that you may want to solve, there are multiple ways on creating these connectors, on these custom connectors. And also important to mention here is the fact that if you have one of your, if you have created a connector and you may want to, you may see that it's a very useful one, so others should use it. You have the possibility to publish it on the Microsoft catalog, so others will be able to see it and to use it just as you created it. Let's move to the next topic now, and let's see what you have for the application lifecycle management. Basically, this includes governance, development, maintenance, and how to discipline those. Requirements management, software architecture, development, testing, any tools, all of these tools that are helping us with the life cycle of our applications are covered into this application lifecycle management. As of today, there are new capabilities, and that's why this is the new these are the news here. That as of today, there are capabilities to set and to manage this lifecycle management policies, let's say, through Azure DevOps. So, and already integrated with Azure DevOps. So if you are creating a PowerApp or a DevOps application, you can just work with those together, and you have you may be sure that all the policies that you are going to add for the DevOps or for the, let's say, complicated application will be already integrated and transferred to the through collaboration to PowerApps as well. There are three main, let's say, ways and the tools and measures for this application lifecycle management. On the one hand, we have the solutions which are the most used ones, let's say, are the mechanisms for implementing this lifecycle management solutions. You can use to distribute those components across environments through export and import different applications or different flows or different components. One of these components represents something that you can potentially customize. So anything that can be covered up into a solution is a component, such as a site map, an app, entities, fields, charts, or even plugins if needed. Also, besides these solutions, we are also talking about the Dataverse as a tool for setting the, the security of our data, and the source control that will let us as app makers or administrators to select the source of truth for storing or collaboration on the components. Another way of securing the data can be through data loss prevention. These policies are going to help us to make sure that our data will not arrive on bad hands, let's say. We have the possibility through these DLPs, data loss prevention policies, to group our connectors, if we are working with connectors, into different groups that will not have access one to other. So if you are working on a top secret application that should not have a connection with media world, you can add all the connectors that are used for the application into a group, and if all these media connectors like LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram are on other group, the application itself will not be able to, who is working at or who is running the application actually will not be able to access this media world. So this is a way when you can think of how you can think of this data loss prevention in order to secure your data. As mentioned already, one of the latest things added into the Power Platform world is the direct integration with Teams. There were the possibility even before to add your applications into Teams, But now there is the possibility to create these applications directly into teams, together with and on top of the dedicated data source for this interaction called Dataverse for Teams. This Dataverse for Teams, it's a more graphical representation of the traditional Dataverse that will help the Teams users without any type of knowledge, without development knowledge or other necessities on this direction, to create applications and also bots directly into the Teams world. For the traditional applications, there is the possibility to start from some templates, and also from the Teams integration, there is the possibility to start from some pre-built solutions that are designed for the most common scenarios in a business, like employees to submit ideas, or to assess some inspections, or to report an issue based on the life in one company. On the end of the presentation, we have added a slide with what's new and planned. One of the topics that we also mentioned that we are going to discuss. And here I will invite Alina to show and to let us know what to expect from into this direction.
Yeah, as Mihai mentioned at the beginning, we had some news to announce, and they already has been announced at Ignite, beginning of March. And the most important one is about our new low-code programming language, which is called Microsoft PowerApps. And it's no more than what we already use for PowerApps in order to build, as Ecaterina and Cornel said before. It's about using Excel. It's about using the Excel in order functions to program. Okay, it's an advanced things that we want to introduce and to be able to the people to benefit of what they already used. The Excel function, easy to build expression logics they already knew about. Also, we had made other nice announcement regarding function and features that are now in the Power Platform, and I will invite you afterwards to visit the My Ignite. You can enter and log into the Microsoft Ignite and review some announcement there. And of course, do not forget that we do release twice per year new features and functionalities, and on the 1st of April, we'll have our new Wave 1 for both Power Platform and Dynamics 365, because everyone is talking about the business application part of Microsoft. And we already had some pre-release notes regarding what will be included in Wave 1. So I will encourage you all to follow up the links and to find more details about those, what's new and what we are planning to have in the tools. So I think, I don't know, Mihai, we can see some features working.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do. Cornel, you want to say something?
Yeah, just one thing, because I'm not sure everyone sees the impact of PowerApps. So my head explodes only on the use cases that can emerge from such a new language on the market. Imagine everything being built today, all the applications that we do, others do, everyone, for their customers or for their own benefit, can have this slightly very useful language integrated, so that they can do much more with it. So it's like everything can become
So here comes the challenge question from Tudor. What can you do with PowerApps and not Python? Maybe, I mean, can you develop on that, Cornel? Or
I'd love to give the answer, and Ecaterina, if you can correct me if you. They have not that much in common. So imagine you have objects, collections in your applications, and you can do specific treatment with ease, like in Excel. You have them available in your application, but with the bar formula like in Excel, you could process them. You could list them, filter them, query them, transform them, do something else, which is hard to do with buttons, with flows and things like that. And for me, when I discussed with platforms, with owners of no code, leaders in no code, purely no code, I said, it's impossible today to address real life businesses only with no code. You need low code because some transformations are so hard to do. Simple text processing, do it without code and with blocks and things like this. This is a developer killer. So I really recommend everyone to look at it and expect for more news on PowerFX. And
So
Ecaterina, maybe
not...
you have much more info than I have.
No, just to complete what you said, because the explanation itself from my side was a very good one. But keep in mind that the Power Platform with the PowerFX and the rest of the tools and Python are targeting different type of users and are targeting different type of scenarios. So of course, for your pro developers or for the people who are who already have this knowledge, this technical knowledge, can totally work and continue work with Python. But for the ones who are, for example, citizen developers, or for the ones who don't have so much knowledge in this direction, it's a very good start, at least, to go and take a look on the PowerFX and to have the they have the possibility to start to build their first applications and their journey, let's say, on this direction. So it's important to position in the idea that they are targeting somehow different scenarios. They are targeting different scenarios. So we're not.
We have 2 more questions, but I'll park them just to see a bit on how it works and see them later. And while Ecaterina is showing us that, don't forget about the tech trends. Our colleagues will put them in the chat. So if you want to get the tech trends for 2021, include all these announcements that are a glimpse for the future, and then make a more bright picture of the future yourself. And then the feedback form will also be there. So please make sure you complete it and jot down, because we have 2 questions about, if we can see a code snippet for PowerFX, and if we have some study cases for the education business, that I will park a bit, see what we've got, and put them in the feedback form. And anything that is not addressed now, we may address it in the future. Just make sure you complete it there. So, Ecaterina.
Okay, great. So we have a couple of moments left and 1 slide, but a demonstration. The last slide comes with a collection of resources. If you want to take a look on what the Power Platform capabilities, if you want to continue with the learning on this direction, here I've added a couple of resources that you can totally start with or continue with. I think it's easier for you to have everything in one single place. And that's why I've added everything in here. For the next part, I will reshare my screen for the demonstration, and I will share with you the my environment, my test environment, where we will play with it a bit with the Power Platform integrated capabilities into Teams. So let me share my screen again. Okay. Let me know if you can see it. Okay, great. Thank you, Cornel. So I bet you're already familiar with this look and feel. This is the PowerApps app maker portal. The majority of the capabilities are already familiar for you. You have, and even if you never opened this page, only by intuition and going straight forward, you will be able to find out how to do some of the most common operation, let's say, and actually to create and to start your first application. Talking about the Dataverse for Teams, just wanted to show you that in the admin center, you will find this environment as a separate environment where will be stored the information that is going to be run and played into this context. So I will open now the Microsoft Teams just to show you how everything looks like, how the Power Platform, how the Power Apps looks like, and so on. Basically, one prerequisite for this integration is for you to have a Teams group. So I have multiple teams in here, and you can see that for all the teams that I'm having, majority of the teams that I'm having, I have added multiple applications as different tabs. This is, let's say, the traditional way of doing this. You can just embed your application into a tab, a team, so everybody in your company will be able to use it. But let's look now to the latest capabilities that are talking about the Dataverse for Teams, how it looks like, and how we can create applications directly. What I've done, I've just opened the PowerApps. The PowerApps tool, you can see it in here, the Power Virtual Agent as well, and we will come to this in a couple of moments as well. Once this Power App will charge, we will see all the capabilities. We will have the possibility to start from an application from one of the solutions that are already pre-built. Let's see this one. Okay, so let's take a look to the Power Virtual Agent because this one loads faster. So this is the Power Virtual Agent, the possibility to create your own bot directly embedded in Teams. I can find in here, you can see, to create a bot, it takes somewhere around 5 minutes with no code. I can take and see all the bots that are already created and have the possibility to create a new one. You can create this bot for different purposes. Let's firstly select a team where we want to add this bot. And for this example, I will create a bot that will answer to this scenario. So my company starts to use this this Dataverse for Teams. How is this helping me? How is this impacting me? And the frequent asked questions about Dataverse for Teams. So let's call it frequent asked questions. I need to set up the language because the bot needs to understand what I'm talking about. So the language, it's one of the options that can be used in here. It will take a couple of moments until everything is created. Take in consideration and take in mind the fact that this bot will already have implemented some of the scenarios, like the greetings, like the goodbye, like I'm sorry, I couldn't find any answer. So all this small chat, let's say, is already integrated, as you can see in here. Thank you, start over, goodbye, confirmed, success, failure, end of conversation, and so on. Also, there are some lessons that you may review, and I strongly encourage you to do that. In every single lesson, you will see what are the trigger phases for the bot and how that bot actually looks like. We are talking about multiple types of bots. This one is a linear one, a regular one that will be triggered and will send the answer. If we're looking to the most complicated ones with variables, for example, the situation will be a bit different and a bit more complicated. This bot will ask questions, and based on the scenario of and based on that answers, we'll find the particular scenario and we'll continue the discussion in one or other direction. So those are the lessons and the topic that you just can use if this example fits you. Otherwise, you can just turn off those, so they will not appear into your bot, and you can add your particular topics. What you have to do is just to link. Okay. So this is the documentation regarding the Dataverse frequent asked questions for teams. I will add the link in here, and the bot itself will translate actually this document into a collection of topics that I can just use in my bot, so the people inside my business will find the answer, just so on. As you may see, these capabilities, in order to start with one PowerApps into Teams, or with a Power Virtual Agent into Teams, may take a couple of minutes until everything gets loaded. This is because those will came with a couple of functionalities already pre-built, and these moments that we are waiting for until everything gets loaded, it's just for the tool, for the behind of the scenes that are happening. The components are created, the relationship are created, and all of the elements are put in place based on what we already have and what are what these capabilities can offer to us. So we may expect a couple of moments of waiting when we first open these capabilities. Now I've tried a new session, and that's why I'm seeing this loading, so much loading, because it's a new environment that I have never used within these capabilities. I want it to be something clean. Meanwhile, on the Power Virtual Agent, we already should have these topics created. So we have the fragment asked question bot. Keep in mind that in this part over here, you have the possibility to test the bot at every single step, just to see if it works how expected. So here are all the questions from the documentation. I want to keep all of them, and let me add those to the full list of topics. It also will take best practice after adding this is to for every single question itself is to add multiple triggers, so the bot will be able to find the right answer and the right question based on multiple triggers. For example, let's say what value does this Dataverse for Teams offer to professional developers? So let's add like developers, pro developers, value, all the combination. The recommendation is to have around 5 to 10 diverse phrases in order for a better, reach from this. Let's save the topic and let's test the bot, at least with this phrase, if it works. So I will greet him, I will say hi, the bot will answer me with the greetings formula, and I want to find out, in the same context, my company is adopting this Dataverse for Teams, and me as a pro developer, I don't understand how this can help me. So I'm considering myself a pro developer. And okay, so I have a typo. Okay, let me just copy this because it seems I have a typo somewhere. No, okay, it was saved. Let me go back. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's why, because I haven't turned on the topic on bot. So now I have to turn on the topic on bot, and now I will be able to find the answer. So hi, and now I will receive the answer, what Dataverse is, what it includes, and how can I, as a pro developer, to take advantage of those. And in the similar way, you can create multiple branches. You can track the between topics, so you can jump from one topic to another, even if they are not related between those. So now if I will have another question that will, for example, answer me to I don't know, the weather, and I will have the trigger phase and the existing, I will have the topic here existing and turned on. I will be able to find in the continue of this discussion, I'll be able to find the information about the weather, if the case. This everything that's behind this, all this data here, is going to be stored on this Dataverse for Teams. I don't know, and let's try once again in here. In order to make this bot available for the rest of the people in your company to be used, the very first step that you have to do is to publish it. And let's try once again, and let's see if this time we will have multiple success, just to see what's happening from the PowerApps perspective. So the experience itself, it's similar with what PowerApps as a whole is proposing. Basically, you can start. Okay, so it works. You can start your application from one of the suggestions. You have the learning capabilities and also the recent things that happened. In the build section, you will find information about based on the environment where you are. You will find information about the applications, what's new, and so on. On the new sections, or let's see all actually, we can arrive, let's say, through the Dataverse for Teams, and this is how it looks like. Actually, you have the possibility to create those tables, and inside of those tables, you have the possibility to add different columns with details and information. So I know we've exceeded our time, and I'm sorry for the extra 5 minutes I have stolen from you. But I've tried to show to you at least a bit of everything, so you will have, you know, the hint and the flavor of the actual look and feel of this experience.
Don't worry, the interest is up. As I'm seeing, you know, I mean the dropout, it's just for those who had the science like calls now, but considering who's already present, we still have interest there. So thank you for going with the presentation. We have, but those are very specific, and I hope you've jotted down on the feedback. And maybe, you know, Cornel will take note and prepare maybe a theme on in a PentaBAR in using Microsoft FX, and you know, maybe we'll do that in another session, a dedicated one, and look. I mean, we'll do live coding, and then another one for you, Cornel, that I do advise because it's anonymous. So maybe you reach out to Cornel. It may be a business discussion there if you use as your APIM, you know, did it help the business, and you have an example?
Yes, so we use and we are happy.
Okay, so I would not maybe change on that or call. So, you know, and then with the platform, and being present with Microsoft and Pentalog again in this presentation, Cornel, for giving us the, you know, and also to be used and what the future will. Having said that, I you in other panels where we'll address very interesting subjects. Bye-bye. See you next Wednesday.
Well, thank you for having here.
Thanks, Ecaterina. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.